Steel Curtain, one of the most unique and intriguing yet bizarre coasters to come to the United States in a long time, is opening on July 13th, just a few days from now, and I decided to get my final thoughts in for what I'm excited for and concerned with for Steel Curtain. To begin, I'll go into the positives, or what I like or am excited for going into Steel Curtain, and the first thing is that the ride is themed to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And yes, I know different people will have different opinions on this, but as an NFL fan, I think this is actually pretty cool that Kennywood is teaming up with the Pittsburgh Steelers for Steel Curtain and the new area called Steelers Country, as I don't think there is any other pro sports team themed rides or areas out there, and the Steelers are one of the most recognizable pro sports teams out there, and they have had a long history of success, winning 6 Super Bowls, as well as having many legendary players, including Mean Joe Green, who was actually part of the Steel Curtain defensive line in the 70s, which is what the ride is actually named and themed after. The second thing I'm excited about for Steel Curtain is just the coaster's layout. It's just so unique. This is the first roller coaster in the US to feature 9 inversions, and it also has the most inversions of any coaster in the US. But with that, there are still a few airtime moments incorporated with the ride, which is always great to see. The banana roll, zero G stall, inverting drop, and sea serpent roll all look like amazing inversions. Especially, the zero G stall hopefully will give amazing hang time along with the banana roll. That should be really good. Also, because of the layout, I think that many people, both the general public and coaster enthusiasts, will think that when this opens, this is the best coaster at Kennywood over Phantom's Revenge, just because it's such a unique layout. Though I'm sure that many will still call Phantom number 1 at Kennywood, but overall, I'm just really excited to ride this coaster as it's so unique and different from really any other coaster I've ridden, and that's probably out there in the entire world. The third thing I'm excited about is something that a lot of coaster enthusiasts just kind of overlooked with this ride, although some took notice, which is a good thing, and that is that Steel Curtain has very nice looking trains with great restraints. The cars have football laces on the headrest, not actual ones, but it's painted on there, it looks nice. And the 33 in front of the train is also great, as it is actually a reference to 1933, the year the Steelers were founded. But of course, for most people, they will want a comfortable restraint and seat, and it appears that Steel Curtain will deliver on that aspect, as it has lap bars, which look pretty comfortable, and a roomy seat, and actually Max Force has the same kind of restraints, and so far those who have ridden it say that the trains feel pretty comfortable, and of course with many hang time moments hopefully to come with Steel Curtain, feeling free and having a comfortable restraint will really improve the overall experience of the hang time on Steel Curtain. Now for me, there are still 2 concerns I have with this coaster, and the first one is the smoothness of Steel Curtain, and while this may seem pretty silly, considering this ride is brand new, SNS did actually have a recent coaster they built that wasn't very smooth in Gale Force, which opened in 2017, but it was actually too rough to the point that SNS had to completely retrack it and reopen it in 2018. And while the track being used here is very different, this could still be an issue, as this coaster is the first of its model and the largest coaster ever made by SNS. Also, even if this coaster isn't necessarily actually rough, if it has too much of a rattle, it may heavily hinder the overall ride experience, as riders may get really sick or have headaches if a bad rattle is present. So hopefully this ride is as smooth as it needs to be for everyone to enjoy the ride. My second concern for Steel Curtain is the pacing, and this is what I think will make or break this coaster for most coaster enthusiasts. As Steel Curtain is mostly inversion based, I'm hoping it doesn't whip through certain inversions such as the banana roll, sea serpent roll, and zero G stall, as these elements are probably best experienced when you get good hang time, which won't happen if this coaster just blazes right through these elements. But at the same time, Steel Curtain still needs to travel fast enough to give good airtime and not feel too slow or crawl toward the end of the ride. I think with how high the banana roll is, as well as the sea serpent roll, it will allow for Steel Curtain to travel through these inversions at the right pace and then gain a lot of speed leaving these elements, which should make it so that you are zooming right through these airtime hills, which should make the airtime great. But even with that, I'm still not sure that this will happen, and so I'm very curious to hear how well paced this ride is from those who ride it, and of course experience the pacing for myself when I eventually get to ride this coaster sometime in the future. Overall, while I have my concerns, I'm still very excited for Steel Curtain to open, and I'm excited to eventually make my way out to ride it, whether it is sooner or later. To me, this is a pretty risky and interesting investment in addition for Kennywood, as S&S, while on the rise, is still a relatively unproven coaster manufacturer in the United States, but hopefully Steel Curtain, along with Steel Earth's Country, is a huge success for the park, and if Steel Curtain is a success, hopefully we can see more S&S coasters come to the US. So, what are you most excited about for Steel Curtain? Let me know in the comments, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time here on Coaster Hour.